A researcher at NYU Langone Health places a tiny electrode, the width of a human hair, directly into a parrot's brain. Not to hurt it, to listen. What they heard changed the way scientists understand speech. Not just parrot speech, human speech. Because what was happening inside that parrot's brain, the exact electrical pattern firing as it made a sound, was identical to what happens inside yours when you speak. Not similar. Not comparable. Identical. The study was published in Nature in March 2025. And the lead researcher, neuroscientist Michael Long, said budgerigars are the only non-human animals in which this has ever been shown. Ever. In any species. We're going to come back to that in a bit. But first, I need to tell you what your parrot is actually doing when it talks to you. Because it is not mimicking. And the difference between what you think is happening and what is actually happening is one of the strangest things I've found in animal research. If you search "why do parrots talk," every answer says the same thing. Mimicry. Imitation. Copying. Repetition. And yes, technically, some of that is true. Parrots do learn sounds from their environment. That part is real. But here's what that explanation completely misses. Mimicry is what a recording device does. It captures a sound and plays it back. No processing. No intention. No decision about when to use it or why. What your parrot is doing is not that. Not even close. And 3 separate lines of research, from Cornell, from NYU, and from the Max Planck Institute, all published in the last 3 years, show exactly what is actually happening. It is far stranger than mimicry, and far more personal than most people realize. You've noticed it, right? Your parrot doesn't just repeat sounds randomly. They say hello when you walk in. They say your name when you've been gone too long. They go quiet when something is wrong, and louder when they want you to come back. The timing isn't random. The context isn't random. You've thought they're communicating. Not just making noise. Actually, communicating. You're right. And the science now explains exactly how. By the end of this video, you will understand the machinery behind it. And I think it's going to change what you hear when your parrot speaks. Here's where it starts. Not in your living room, but in the Amazon. In the wild, parrots live in tight-knit flocks. Denser rainforest. Poor visibility. Dozens of birds scattered across hundreds of trees. How does a parrot know where its flock is? How does it call out to a specific bird? Not just any bird, but its mate, its companion, the individual it chose to bond with. It uses what researchers call a contact call. A specific vocalization that functions almost like a name. And here is where it gets interesting. Parrots don't hatch with their contact call. They learn it from the flock they're born into. And when they join a new flock, they change it. Within days. A study on orange-winged Amazon parrots found that individuals modified their calls to match those of new flockmates within days of arrival. This vocal accommodation mirrors how humans subtly adjust their accent or speech rhythm when bonding with others, a phenomenon known as phonetic convergence. Your parrot isn't copying sounds because it's programmed to. It's doing what it evolved to do with a flock. And you are its flock. When your parrot learns your name, learns your phrases, learns the specific sounds you make, it is not performing. It is bonding. The only way it knows how. Now, the flock identity research explains why parrots learn sounds. But it doesn't explain how they do it in a way that's genuinely different from every other animal. That's where the Max Planck Institute comes in. In 2023, researchers at the Max Planck Institute of Animal Behavior studied wild monk parakeets in Barcelona, Spain. Parrots change their contact calls constantly, but flockmates still recognize each other instantly. even with a completely modified call. How? The answer was a voice print. Individuals have a unique tone of voice, similar to that in humans, that runs beneath every sound they make, unchanged even as the sounds themselves evolve. The researchers ran parrot vocalizations through the same machine learning model used in human voice recognition. It identified individual parrots with high accuracy, even when those parrots had completely changed their contact calls. Your parrot has a voice print. That is not mimicry. Mimicry has no voice print. A recording device sounds exactly the same every time. Your parrot doesn't. Your parrot sounds like itself, like a specific individual, even when it's saying something it learned from you. And then there's the study that stopped me completely. March 19, 2025. Nature Journal. Neuroscientist Michael Long and his colleague Zhechen Yang at NYU Langone Health published something that had never been demonstrated in any non-human animal: a structured speech-motor circuit in parrot brains that closely resembles human language centers. Using advanced neural recording, scientists mapped how parrots control pitch and sound features via what Long called a vocal keyboard, where individual brain cells seem to be driving consonant sounds and vowel sounds, playing whatever combination the bird wants. This is exactly how human speech works. The same organizational principle. The same type of brain region. Producing the same flexible, intentional vocal output. In budgerigars, the AAC allows for much more adaptable and improvisational speech patterns, similar to those seen in humans, in contrast to zebra finches, whose vocalizations are encoded as rigid, fixed patterns that are difficult to modify. Not repeat what it heard. Not replay a recording. Choose. Construct. Produce. That is not mimicry. That is something that, until March 2025, scientists thought only humans could do. Now, I want to be careful here, because this research is remarkable, but it doesn't prove that your parrot understands language the way you do. Michael Long was careful about this himself. The vocal keyboard explains the mechanism of production. It does not fully explain what those sounds mean to the parrot producing them. But here is what the combined evidence shows. 3 things are now established. 1. Parrots learn vocalizations socially, specifically to bond with individuals they choose to be close to. This is not random sound acquisition. 2. Parrots maintain a unique vocal identity beneath all the sounds they learn. They remain themselves. 3. The mechanism by which parrots produce sound is organized the same way as human speech, with intentional, flexible, constructive control. That combination, social motivation, individual identity, human parallel production mechanism, is not what mimicry looks like. It's what communication looks like. Here's something I want to say directly to anyone thinking about their own parrot. When your bird learned your name, they didn't store it the way a recorder stores a sound file. They encoded it the way you encode a word. Through a structured neural system that represents sounds as components and recombines them intentionally. When they call you from the other room, they're not playing back audio. They're producing a sound they associate with getting you to come. That's a goal. That's intention. When a parrot is domesticated and mimics human speech, they may be attempting to integrate into their human flock by adopting its vocal patterns. You are not your parrot's audience. You are their flock. And they've been trying to sound like you, not to imitate you, but to belong to you. Let's go back to that lab at NYU. March 2025. Michael Long, listening to the electrical patterns inside a budgerigars brain. What he heard was a vocal keyboard. Individual neurons, each one tuned to a specific sound. The bird choosing which ones to play. Your parrot isn't mimicking you. They built a version of your voice. inside a brain the size of a walnut, using the same neural architecture that lets you read these words out loud right now. They did it so they could sound like someone who belongs with you. And every time they call your name from across the room, they're not copying. They're reaching out. The machinery is different. The brain is smaller. The words might not mean exactly what they mean to you, but the reason is the same as why you call someone's name when you want them close. Your parrot just figured out how to do it in your language. I want to hear about the moment you realized your parrot wasn't just making noise. The moment the timing was too perfect. The phrase was too specific. The context was too exactly right. Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And here's something I genuinely want to know. Now that you know your parrot has the same speech production mechanism as you, does it change how you feel when they talk to you? Or does it make it stranger? Because I've been sitting with that question for a while, and I'm still not sure I have an answer. See you in the next one.